Maria Rodriguez opened the basement door just wanting to clean, but what she saw changed her life forever. On the floor was an open safe. Inside were blood-stained clothes and photographs of 6 women. Maria's hands trembled because she was an illegal immigrant, and if she went to the police, she would be deported. But these women needed justice. What city are you watching from today? If this story touches you, please subscribe and help more people see it. Maria Rodriguez was only 22 years old when she came from Mexico 23 years ago. She dreamed of a better life for her family. Now she was 45 and still living illegally. Because the system was complicated, lawyers were expensive, and she was afraid. Every day she was afraid, but she had to work. Her 19-year-old daughter Sarah was going to college. Her 16-year-old son Miguel was in high school. She would do anything for them. Maria's job was simple: clean rich houses, be invisible, stay quiet, never ask questions. That's how she survived. This week, she was working at the Sterling Mansion. Robert Sterling, tech billionaire, company worth $2.3 billion, a huge house in Westchester, 8 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a home theater, a wine cellar, and a basement. That Tuesday morning, Maria arrived at 7 a.m. as usual. The Sterling family wasn't home. Mrs. Sterling and the 2 children were at the summer house in the Hamptons. Mr. Sterling was on a business trip, Chicago as always. Maria was alone, which made her job easier. She could work quietly and quickly. In the morning she cleaned the kitchen. Before noon she did the bedrooms. At 2 p.m. the basement was left. The basement was usually dark and dirty. Old furniture, holiday decorations, unused equipment. Maria hated it, but it was part of her job. She went down the stairs, turned on the light. The basement looked like always, but then she noticed something. In the right corner, under an old rug, there was a safe on the floor. The safe was open. The lock looked broken. Maria stopped. This wasn't her business. Looking at safes, touching private belongings, these were things Maria never did, because cleaning ladies were invisible, and invisible people survived. But the safe was open, and something was hanging out of it. A piece of white fabric. Maria approached, bent down, touched the fabric, and her heart stopped, because the fabric wasn't white. It used to be white, but now it was covered with brown-red stains, blood stains, dried blood stains. Maria looked more carefully at the safe. There were more things inside. Clothes. 6 different dresses, all women's dresses, all blood-stained. A blue dress, a sundress, a work blouse, jeans, a skirt, a jacket, each one different style, different size, from 6 different women. And under the clothes were photographs, driver's license photos. 6 women's faces were looking at Maria, young women in their 20s and 30s, smiling, living, unknowing. Maria's breath caught. She backed away, stood up, her head was spinning. What did this mean? In Robert Sterling's basement were blood-stained clothes and ID cards belonging to 6 women. No, this couldn't be possible. Robert Sterling was a billionaire, a good family, had 2 children. No, but her eyes weren't lying. The safe was there, the clothes were there, the blood was there. Maria's first thought was police. Call the police right now. But then the second thought came. You're illegal, Maria. If you call the police, ICE will come. They'll deport you. What will Sarah and Miguel do? They were born in this country. They're Americans. But you're not. If they send you back, you'll never see your children again. Maria trembled. Tears blurred her eyes. What would she do? 6 women. 6 women and blood. These women might be dead. These women's families might be waiting for answers. But if Maria speaks, she loses her own family. Maria closed the safe, pulled the rug over it, left everything as it was, went upstairs, didn't finish the basement, grabbed her bag, left the house, got in the car, drove home, but she couldn't forget. That night, she couldn't sleep. When she closed her eyes, she saw the faces of 6 women. When she looked at Sarah, she thought of those women's mothers. When she hugged Miguel, she thought of those women's brothers. For 3 days she did nothing. Didn't go to the Sterling house. Texted, "I'm sick." But actually, she was afraid, didn't know what to do. On the 4th day, when Sarah came home, she was reading something on her computer. "Mum, do you know about dark case files? They investigate unsolved cases. They're really viral right now." Maria looked at Sarah's screen, a website. "We expose injustices. We fight for forgotten victims. If you know something, share it with us." And at the bottom, in small letters, "We accept anonymous tips. We protect your identity." Maria stared at the screen, her heart pounding. Anonymous. Identity protection. Maybe there was a way. That night, after everyone was asleep, Maria opened the computer, went to the Dark Case Files website, found the anonymous tip form. With trembling hands, she began to type. Her English wasn't perfect, but she did her best. "My name doesn't matter, but I saw something. I clean houses for a rich man. In Westchester, I found a safe in the basement. Inside were blood-stained clothes and ID cards belonging to 6 women. But I'm not legal. I can't go to the police. Please help. These women deserve justice." She pressed send, closed the screen, and waited. 3 days later, Maria's phone rang, a number she didn't recognize. "Hello? Maria Rodriguez," said a deep voice. "My name is David Harrington, from Dark Case Files. We need to talk about the tip you sent us." Maria's breath caught. How did you find me?" "I didn't find you," David said calmly. "You called me, but now we need to talk. Let's meet somewhere safe. Come alone. No one will know." "But I'm not legal," Maria whispered. "You can't give me to the police." "Maria, that's exactly why I resigned from the FBI," David said. "The system sometimes punishes the right people. My job now is to find the truth, no matter what. I promise you, we'll protect you." Maria's eyes filled with tears. "Those women, are they dead?" "We don't know yet," David said. "But we need to find out. Let's meet tomorrow. I'll send you an address. Don't tell anyone." The next day, Maria was waiting at the cafe David had specified, a small, quiet place. When David arrived, Maria recognized him immediately. Tall, in his late 40s, serious face but kind eyes. There was another woman with him, young, Latina, full of energy. "Maria, I'm David. This is Elena Cortez from our research team." Elena extended her hand, smiled. She spoke Spanish. "Hola, Maria. Estamos aquí para ayudarte. We're here to help you." Maria relaxed. Elena was Latina. She would understand. Maria's stomach turned. Yes, that woman, with the blue dress. David and Elena looked at each other. David took out his phone, typed a message. "I'm calling my team. If we have this woman's DNA, we'll match it with the blood in that safe. But first, Maria, I'll ask you another question. How well do you know Robert Sterling?" "I don't know him," Maria said. "I've only seen him 3 times. He's always on business trips. But Mrs. Sterling and the children, they're good people. Could they not know?" "Usually they don't know," David said. "Serial killers live double lives. At home, perfect husband, father. Outside, monster. But Maria, this is very dangerous. If Robert Sterling gets suspicious, you're in danger. You can't go to that house anymore." "But I need my job," Maria said. "I have to pay bills, my children." "We'll handle it," Elena said. "We'll put you under protection. You'll move to a temporary place with your children. You'll be safe." Maria nodded through tears. "Thank you, thank you." David leaned forward. "Maria, you're a very brave woman. These women owe you. Now we'll do our job. We'll stop Robert Sterling." That same evening, the Dark Case Files team assembled in full. 5 people in David's office. David, Elena, and 3 others. Sam Reeves, digital forensics expert. With glasses, 34 years old, brilliant mind. "I need to analyze the evidence we have, but we haven't accessed the safe yet. How will we legally enter his house?" Jake Morrison, former Detroit cop, 52 years old, strong and experienced. I put Maria under protection. We moved her and her children to a safe place. But Maria returning to her house is now dangerous. Sterling will suspect. Marcus Chen, criminal psychologist, 41 years old, calm and analytical. We need to profile Robert Sterling. Billionaire, married, 2 children, but carrying serial killer trophies in the basement. This is a dual personality. By day successful businessman, by night predator. David threw a file on the table. What do we know about Robert Sterling? Elena. Elena opened her laptop. Robert Sterling, 52 years old, Sterling Tech CEO, net worth $2.3 billion. Stanford graduate, founded the company at 25. Married, has 2 children, 22 and 19 years old. Does charity work, community leader, 0 criminal record. But I found something. Over the past 7 years he's gone on business trips, an average of 3 to 5 days every month. Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Atlanta. Different cities. And where did Jessica Martinez disappear? David asked. Stamford, Connecticut, Elena said. But Robert Sterling was on a business trip in Connecticut the day before she disappeared. He had a meeting 20 miles from Stamford. The room went silent. Sam took off his glasses, cleaned them. Correlation, but not causation yet. We need to find the other 5 women. Are they also missing? And do they also coincide with Robert's business trips? I'm working on it, Elena said. Using the clothes and general descriptions Maria gave, I'm scanning the missing women database, but there are thousands of missing women. Marcus opened his notebook. Robert Sterling's psychological profile. Organized serial killer. High IQ, has social skills, planned, chooses his victims in distant cities, not close to home, keeps trophies, lots and ID cards. This feeds his ego. Look what I did and no one knows. But Maria's discovery changed everything. Now he might be in panic mode. Exactly, David said. When Robert returns home, he'll check the basement. He'll see the safe was left open. He'll realize someone saw it. And he'll notice the cleaning lady disappeared. He'll call Maria. Jake stood up. That's why Maria's phone is with me now. If Robert calls, I'll answer. Great, David said. But the real problem is this. We can't legally enter that house yet. Anonymous tip isn't enough. For a search warrant, we need probable cause. But Maria is an illegal immigrant. If we take her to court, they'll deport her. So what do we do? Sam asked. David took a deep breath. Old school. I left the FBI because following rules sometimes prevented justice. Now we don't have to follow rules. We'll follow Robert Sterling. We'll watch his every move. We'll wait for him to make a mistake. And when he makes that mistake, we'll catch him. Marcus nodded. Risky. But we have no other choice. If Robert is suspicious, he might never kill again. He might just destroy the evidence, throw away the safe, clean everything, and never get caught. Or, Jake said, he might panic and do something stupid, like try to find Maria. David looked at Jake. You stay with Maria, 24/7. Make sure that family is safe. Elena, you'll map Robert's past business trips. Check if there's a missing woman on each trip. Sam, you'll do digital forensics. Try to access Robert's computer records, emails, everything. Marcus, you'll continue the psychological profile, predict Robert's next move. What about you? Elena asked. David smiled, but the smile wasn't warm. I'll meet Robert Sterling. David Harrington had a sincere smile on his face as he shook hands with Robert Sterling at a charity event. But inside he felt his stomach turn, because the man in front of him, in a suit, smiling, holding a champagne glass, had probably killed 6 women. Mr. Sterling, my name is David Harrington, David said, former FBI, now working as a consultant. I was very impressed with Sterling Tech's cybersecurity protocols. Maybe we can collaborate someday. Robert's eyes lit up. FBI background? Impressive. Of course, take my card. I always invest in security. David took the card, observed Robert. Medium height, fit, 52 years old but looks 40. Well-groomed, charismatic, confident. Didn't look like a serial killer in any way, But David had dealt with criminals for 24 years. He knew that the most dangerous ones looked the most normal. "Is your family here tonight?" David asked casually. "No, unfortunately," Robert said. "My wife and children are in the Hamptons. I came alone. Business always continues, you know." "Of course," David said. "When I was married, I was always on business trips too, hard on the family." "Yes," Robert said. But something changed in his eyes, something cold, but necessary. Success requires sacrifice. David made a mental note. Robert didn't like talking about his family. Disconnection? Secrecy? The conversation lasted 10 minutes. Robert talked about information technology, market trends, investments, showed no abnormality. But as David was leaving, he noticed something. Robert had a small scar on his left hand, fresh, maybe 3-4 days old, between his fingers as if he'd held something sharp. When David returned to the office, he told the team, "He has a cut on his hand, fresh." Sam thought, maybe he was cleaning the safe, metal sharp edges. If he works in a panic, he could cut himself. Or, Marcus said, he was destroying evidence, burning clothes, shredding ID cards. He was working with sharp objects. Elena turned her screen. "Big news. I found 2 of the 6 women, Jessica Martinez, Connecticut, 2019, and Amy Chen, Philadelphia, 2021, both missing. Families still looking. And in both cases, Robert Sterling was on a business trip in that city on the date of disappearance." David got excited. 2 correlations. Continue. Find the other 4. Jake's phone rang. Maria's phone. "Robert Sterling is calling." Jake answered, tried to sound like Maria. "Hello?" Maria. "This is Mr. Sterling. Why didn't you come this week?" Jake, imitating a woman's voice. "I was sick, Mr. Sterling. I'm sorry. I understand. But I want to ask something. Did you clean the basement last week?" Silence. Jake looked at David. David nodded. Yes, Mr. Sterling. I cleaned the basement. And did you notice anything? Like something was moved?" Jake carefully chose his words. "No, Mr. Sterling, everything was normal." "Why do you ask?" A long pause. "It's nothing. Thanks, Maria. Get well soon." The phone hung up. Jake looked at the team. He's panicking. He was questioning about the basement. David stood up. "We're going to move. Robert is suspicious. He might not kill again, but he might destroy evidence. Tonight we'll watch his house." At 2:37 a.m. Robert Sterling came out the back door of his house. Dark clothes, backpack, looked around carefully before getting in his car. Jake was in his car 200 meters from the house, waiting. David too. They spoke by radio. "He's moving," Jake said. "Follow him," David said. "But from a distance, don't let him suspect." Robert Sterling's car quietly left the street. Jake waited 30 seconds, then followed. David went a different route in another car. Following with 2 cars was safer. Robert drove for 40 minutes, left the city, went to a wooded area, finally stopped on a deserted road, got out of his car, looked around, and took a bag from the trunk. A large, heavy bag. Jake and David had parked 500 meters behind, engines off, in the dark. They were watching with night vision binoculars. Robert carried the bag into the woods. "He's going," Jake said. "He's going to bury something." "Watch but don't approach," David said. "Photograph it." Jake quietly got out of his car, moved toward the woods, shadow to shadow. He had 30 years of police experience, knew how to move stealthily. 50 meters away, Robert Sterling had stopped, had taken out a shovel, was digging soil, and the bag was on the ground, open. Inside were clothes, blood-stained clothes. Robert was burying evidence. Jake opened his phone camera, zoomed in, recorded video. Robert was digging, dropped the bag into the hole, filled the soil back in. It took 20 minutes, then it was done. Robert looked around again and left the woods, got in his car, left. Jake sent the video to David. David watched and smiled. "We got him. Now it's time to move." The next morning, David called Agent Karen Walsh, his former colleague from the FBI. "Karen, I'm going to send you a file about Robert Sterling, 6 women missing, blood-stained clothes in his house, and last night's video recording of him burying evidence." Karen reviewed the file. "David, this is serious, but illegal surveillance. We can't use it in court. But it gives probable cause for a search warrant," David said. "We started with Maria's anonymous tip. Now add the video. It's enough." "Who's the source?" "Maria Rodriguez is an illegal immigrant. You can't take her to court." "I won't," David said. "The video was anonymous. A witness saw Robert digging in the woods that night. Witness wants to remain anonymous, but can provide location." Karen paused. "David, you're bending the rules. 6 women may be dead, Karen. I don't hesitate to bend rules." Karen sighed. "Okay, I'll apply for a warrant. But you protect Maria. If she's exposed, ICE will take her." "I know. I promise." 2 days later, the FBI raided the Sterling mansion. They had search warrants. Robert Sterling was home. He was shocked, angry, called his lawyer. But the FBI went down to the basement. They found the safe. The clothes weren't there. Robert had taken them, but DNA was there. Bloodstains, hair strands, fingerprints. Sam Reeves analyzed everything at the FBI lab, and they excavated the wooded area. The bag was found. Inside were clothes, ID cards, personal items belonging to 6 women, each from a different woman: Jessica Martinez, Amy Chen, and 4 more: Linda Torres, Brenda Walsh, Kelly Martinez, Sarah Kim, all missing. All disappeared in cities where Robert Sterling had business trips over the past 7 years. Robert Sterling was arrested, charged with the murder of 6 women. His lawyers said insufficient evidence, said coincidence, but DNA spoke. Robert's DNA was found on Linda Torres's body, because in the forest excavation, 1 more woman's body was found. Linda, he had buried 2 years ago. The other 5 women were still missing, but DNA, clothes, timeline, everything pointed to Robert Sterling. The trial lasted 6 months. The media went crazy. Billionaire serial killer. Silicon Valley's dark secret. Headlines were everywhere. Mrs. Sterling filed for divorce. The children stopped talking to their father. The company went bankrupt. But for dark case files, the real story was Maria Rodriguez. During the trial, Maria's identity was protected. She was referred to as Witness A. She never appeared in court. Her testimony was recorded on video. Her face blurred, her voice altered, but her words were clear. "I found a safe. Inside were the clothes of 6 women, blood-stained, and I knew what I had to do, because these women were silent. But I couldn't be silent." The jury found him guilty. Robert Sterling was found guilty of first-degree murder of 6 women, life imprisonment, no chance of parole. Linda Torres's family cried in the courtroom. Jessica Martinez's mother sent a message to Maria: "You don't know us, but we owe you. To learn what happened to my daughter, to find closure. This is because of you. Thank you." When Maria read the message, she cried. Sarah and Miguel hugged her. "Mum, we're proud," they said. David Harrington and the Dark Case Files team went to Maria's apartment. David extended a file. "Maria, we did something for you. We hired an immigration lawyer. We prepared a U visa application." Maria was confused. "What is U visa?" Elena smiled. "U visa is a special visa for crime victims or crime witnesses. You were a critical witness in a federal case. You brought justice to 6 women. You qualify. With this visa, you can stay legally, and after 3 years, you can apply for a green card." Maria's eyes filled with tears. "Really? Can I be legal?" "Yes," David said. "Your courage earned you and your family a new life. You deserve this." Maria jumped up, hugged David, hugged Elena, hugged everyone. "Thank you. Thank you. I'll never forget." Jake Morrison, former Detroit cop, was standing in the corner. His eyes were moist. He'd worked as a cop for 30 years, seen thousands of cases. But this was different. Because Maria was an invisible woman, the system didn't protect her. but she risked everything for 6 women. And now, not only them, but she too was saved. 6 months later, Dark Case Files released the documentary, The Cleaning Lady Who Saw Everything. In the video opening, David Harrington spoke, "In American society, there are millions of invisible people who clean our houses, work in our gardens, take care of our children. We don't see them, but they see everything." Maria Rodriguez was an invisible woman, but she risked everything to make 6 women visible. This is her story. The video told Maria's discovery, showed Robert Sterling's double life, the FBI raid, the trial, the guilty verdict. But most importantly, it emphasized Maria's courage. The video was watched 12 million times. The comments were full of compassion. Maria is a hero, not an illegal immigrant, a human, and a brave human. The system didn't protect her, but she trusted the system. Respect. How many legal people would stay silent in the same situation? Maria is special. Elena Cortez prepared a special segment for Maria, titled Invisible Heroes, Invisible People in Society, Cleaning Ladies, Construction Workers, Farm Workers. Without them, our lives would stop. But we don't see them, we don't value them, until someone like Maria changes everything. The segment went viral. Immigration reform movements used Maria as a symbol. If Maria had been legal, she wouldn't have been afraid to go to the police. 6 women would have found justice earlier. Being illegal silences crime witnesses. This must change. Sam Reeves prepared a forensic breakdown for the video. DNA analysis, age of bloodstains, Robert Sterling's psychological profile. Organized serial killers are the most dangerous because they're smart, planned, and appear normal in society. Robert Sterling owned a company worth $2.3 billion. No one suspected. Without Maria, he might still be killing today. Marcus Chen gave a psychological explanation. Serial killers usually collect trophies to feed their egos. Look what I did, and no one knows. Robert kept clothes and ID cards in his safe, each woman a victory, a story. But Maria put the final period on those stories. Jake Morrison, former cop, Maria's protector, gave an emotional message in the video. "I was a cop for 30 years, worked in Detroit's most dangerous streets, saw countless heroes, but Maria is different. She wasn't protected by the system. Actually, the system was against her, but she still did what was right. I attribute this not to courage, but to her noble spirit. I respect Maria Rodriguez." A year later, Maria Rodriguez became an American citizen, got her green card, then applied for citizenship. David and Elena were by her side at the ceremony. Maria took an oath in front of the American flag. "I, Maria Rodriguez, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the United States of America." Sarah and Miguel were crying. Their mother was now legal, now safe, no longer had to be afraid. After the ceremony, Maria turned to David. "Because of you, everything because of you." David shook his head. "No, Maria, because of you, because you spoke, because you were brave. We just helped. You're the hero." Maria smiled. "I'm not a hero. I just did what was right." "That's it," Elena said. "Heroes don't call themselves heroes. They just do what's right. And Maria, you did what was right." 6 families found closure. 6 women's stories were told. They're no longer forgotten. You did that. Maria nodded through tears. Those women, I still remember their photographs. Every night, I did it for them, and for their families. Jessica Martinez's mother had come to the ceremony. When she saw Maria, she cried, hugged her. "Thank you, thank you. I waited 23 years to know what happened to my daughter. Now I know. I found closure because of you." 2 women cried, held each other. 2 mothers. One had lost her daughter, the other had saved hers, but both had survived. Both were strong. David turned to the team. "Elena, Sam, Marcus, Jake, we did good work." "No," Jake said. "Maria did good work. We just did our job." "Right," Marcus said. But sometimes our job saves lives. Today we brought justice to 6 families, and we gave a new life to a woman. That's enough. That evening, Dark Case Files added Maria's citizenship ceremony as the final segment. The video titled "The Cleaning Lady Who Saw Everything, Maria's Journey to Freedom." In the video opening, David spoke. "A year ago, Maria Rodriguez was an invisible woman. The system didn't protect her, but she protected 6 women. And finally, the system protected her too. Today, Maria is an American citizen, legal, safe, free. This isn't just a happy ending. This is justice, both for her and for 6 women." The video was watched 15 million times. Petitions for immigration reform began. Maria's law was proposed, automatic legal protection for crime witnesses. It hasn't passed yet, but the discussion began. And most importantly, other invisible people found courage. Dozens of tips started coming to Dark Case Files, anonymous witnesses, afraid but wanting to speak. "If Maria did it, I can too." When David was asked in an interview, he said, "Maria Rodriguez started a movement. She did it unknowingly. She just did what was right. But now, thousands of invisible people feel visible. They're speaking. They're bringing justice. That's real change." Maria Rodriguez now works at a cleaning company. But she's not afraid anymore. Sarah graduated from college, started law school. Miguel finished high school, preparing for medical school. Maria's dream came true. Her children have a better life. And every night, before Maria goes to bed, she thinks about the photographs of 6 women. Jessica, Amy, Linda, Brenda, Kelly, Sarah. They're no longer forgotten. Their stories were told. Their families found closure. And Maria knew that the day she opened that safe in the basement, her life had changed. But not just her life. 6 families' lives, and thousands of invisible people's lives. Because sometimes the person who appears weakest is the strongest. Sometimes the person who stays silent speaks the loudest. And sometimes a cleaning lady changes the entire system. Maria Rodriguez was an invisible woman, but now everyone sees her and remembers. This was Dark Case Files. For Maria Rodriguez, David Harrington, and all the invisible heroes fighting for justice. If you know of an injustice too, don't stay silent, because your voice matters. Like Maria, you can make a difference. Subscribe, share, and remember, justice is for everyone. Visible or invisible, for everyone.